79-year-old Margaret was sharp as a tack her entire life, the kind of grandmother who could recall the tiniest details from decades ago, until one year she began forgetting the names of her grandchildren and the street she had lived on for 40 years. Her doctor suggested medication but warned it might only slow the decline, not reverse it. But then something unexpected happened. Her daughter gave her a spice she had in her kitchen for years, thinking it was just for flavor, and within months Margaret's memory began improving so much her doctor was stunned. Today we are going to talk about this incredible research-backed spice that's been quietly sitting in millions of pantries and how eating it daily could help protect your brain from dementia. Now you might think this sounds too good to be true, and that's exactly what the food and pharmaceutical industries want you to think, because they can't profit from something so cheap and natural. Studies from major universities have shown that the compounds in this spice can cross the blood-brain barrier and actively fight the inflammation and plaque buildup associated with Alzheimer's. In one study, seniors who consumed just a teaspoon daily performed 30% better on memory tests after only 6 weeks. Scientists believe it works by boosting levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that helps grow new neurons and keep existing ones healthy. But here's the thing, not all forms of this spice are equal. The kind you sprinkle from a generic store-bought bottle might not be potent enough. Researchers found that fresh, high-quality sources can have up to 40 times more of the active compound than the cheap, stale versions. Imagine if just changing the source of your spice could mean the difference between years of mental clarity and a rapid decline into confusion. Think about that for a second. This is the same spice that ancient cultures revered as a healing miracle for thousands of years. Yet in the last few decades, it's been pushed aside in favor of expensive drugs that often come with dangerous side effects. I'm not saying throw away your medication, but what I am saying is you have the power to add this to your daily routine starting today. And the best part is it's delicious and can be easily incorporated into soups, teas, smoothies, or even sprinkled on eggs in the morning. In fact, in regions where this spice is consumed regularly as part of the diet, dementia rates are significantly lower than in countries that barely use it, which makes you wonder, is it genetics, or could it be something as simple as diet? You see, dementia is not an overnight event. It's a slow, creeping process that can start decades before symptoms appear. Tiny changes in your brain chemistry, small clumps of protein forming, neurons dying off silently. But this spice helps stop that process before it becomes irreversible. And if you're wondering why your doctor never mentioned it, the truth is that nutritional interventions are rarely taught in medical school. Instead, the focus is on managing disease, not preventing it. Meanwhile, millions of seniors are told there's nothing they can do, while the answer might be sitting in their spice rack. And here's something fascinating. Researchers found that when this spice is combined with a tiny pinch of another common kitchen ingredient, its absorption in the body increases by up to 2,000%, making it even more powerful. This means you don't just add it to your food, you pair it strategically, and suddenly you're giving your brain the best possible defense. People like Margaret, who commit to using it daily, often notice improvements not just in memory, but also in mood, focus, and even sleep. And while no natural remedy is a magic cure, the evidence is so strong that ignoring it feels reckless, especially when dementia is on the rise globally, with cases expected to triple in the next few decades. Imagine being able to play with your great-grandkids and remember every moment. Imagine being able to tell your life stories in perfect detail, even in your 90s. That's what protecting your brain is really about. It's about preserving the essence of who you are. And all it takes is making a tiny change to your daily habits starting now. Because every day you wait, those silent changes in your brain are still happening. The choice is yours. You can watch your memory fade slowly over time, or you can fight back with one of the simplest, most affordable tools nature has given us. And here's the most shocking part. In some countries, pharmaceutical companies have tried to patent extracts of this spice, so they could sell it as an expensive prescription drug, which tells you they know exactly how powerful it is. But you don't need a prescription, you just need to know what it is and how to use it properly. And by the end of today, you will. So before we reveal its name, think for a moment about the People in your life who could benefit. Maybe it's you, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your parents, because once you know this, you can't unknow it, and when you start, you'll understand why ancient healers swore by it, why modern scientists are rediscovering its benefits, and why people like Margaret are living proof that sometimes the best medicine doesn't come in a pill bottle, but in a teaspoon from your kitchen. Margaret's story isn't an isolated miracle, because thousands of people across the world have shared similar experiences once they made this spice a daily habit. And I want you to really think about that for a second, because when something works in one or two cases, maybe it's just coincidence, but when people from entirely different countries, with different diets, genetics, and lifestyles, all start seeing memory improvements from the same thing, it stops being coincidence and starts being evidence, strong evidence. The kind big corporations don't want you to see, because if enough people knew that this humble kitchen ingredient could help protect their brain health, the entire market for expensive dementia treatments would collapse overnight. Just picture the money at stake here. Billions of dollars every year from prescriptions, hospital visits, assisted living facilities, and caregiving services. And yet, here's something you can buy for just a few cents per day. Into two groups, one that consumed this spice daily and one that didn't. At the end of the year, the spice group showed significantly less cognitive decline, better memory recall, and even improved mood. Scientists believe that's because it not only reduces inflammation, but also boosts antioxidant activity in the brain, protecting neurons from oxidative stress, a major factor in aging. And here's something most people don't realize. Your brain uses about 20% of your body's total oxygen, and that constant high oxygen demand makes it incredibly vulnerable to oxidative damage, which is why antioxidants are so critical for long-term brain health. This spice is like a shield, intercepting harmful molecules before they can damage delicate brain cells. Think of it like wrapping your neurons in protective armor. And here's another fascinating detail. It also supports healthy blood flow to the brain, which means more oxygen and nutrients get delivered to keep your mental sharpness intact. Imagine your brain as a city, and blood flow as the delivery trucks bringing in food and supplies. If the roads are blocked, the city starts falling apart. But if the roads are clear and traffic flows smoothly, the city thrives. Now let's go even deeper, because scientists are now studying this spice for its potential role in stimulating the growth of new brain cells in a process called neurogenesis, something we once thought was impossible in adults. But the research is showing it can happen, and when you give your brain the building blocks it needs, it responds. This means it's not just about preventing decline, it's about potentially reversing some of the damage that's already been done. But the catch, as I mentioned earlier, is that quality matters. If your spice is old, oxidized, or processed with heat, the active compounds degrade, and you get almost no benefit, so freshness is everything. And that's why people in the know source it from trusted suppliers, store it in airtight containers away from light, and use it generously, not just a tiny sprinkle once a month, because your brain needs a steady supply to keep levels of these protective compounds high. And here's where the synergy comes in. When paired with that second ingredient I hinted at earlier, the absorption skyrockets, meaning you get the maximum benefit in the shortest amount of time. That second ingredient is likely already in your kitchen. And when you combine the two, you're essentially creating a brain protective powerhouse right in your own home. Some people like to mix them into warm milk at night, creating a soothing bedtime drink that not only supports brain health but also promotes deep, restful sleep, which is itself one of the most underrated factors in preventing dementia, because during deep sleep your brain actually cleans itself, flushing out toxins and plaque. So pairing the spice with good sleep habits is like giving your brain a double cleanse every single night. And while this may sound simple, that's exactly why it's so dangerous to the industries that profit from sickness, because there's no patent on a teaspoon of spice, no massive markup, no need for monthly refills at the pharmacy, just a one-time habit change that could transform your future. But here's the thing, knowing this isn't enough. You have to act on it, because every day you wait is another day where silent brain changes are happening, and you you won't notice them until it's too late. I've spoken to families who said they wished they had started sooner, who saw their loved ones slip away slowly, wishing there had been something they could do, and while nothing can guarantee prevention, why wouldn't you stack the odds in your favor when it's this easy and affordable? So the question isn't, should you try this? It's, why haven't you started already? Because if you can take a few seconds each day to protect decades of memories, that seems like the best trade. In the world, and here's the part that will blow your mind, in countries where this spice is consumed regularly in traditional diets, dementia rates are up to 70% lower than in places where it's not. And that statistic alone should make you pause and rethink what's on your plate. We're so quick to look for miracle pills and expensive treatments when the answer could be sitting right there in a glass jar in your kitchen, waiting for you to twist the lid and take control of your brain health starting today. Because you have two options: let time and neglect take their toll, or fight back with one of nature's most powerful tools. The choice is yours, and the time to choose is now. Almost feels like they're counting on you not to notice. And when you look at how dementia develops, the logic behind this spice makes even more sense, because one of the earliest triggers in cognitive decline is chronic inflammation, which silently damages brain cells over time. This spice contains some of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds known to science, so powerful that in lab tests they've been shown to outperform certain synthetic drugs at reducing inflammation. But here's the beautiful part. Unlike many drugs, it does this without harmful side effects, and that's why in traditional medicine systems, this spice wasn't just for cooking. It was a sacred substance reserved for healing rituals, given to elders to keep their minds clear, used in tonics that were believed to extend life itself. But let's not rely on tradition alone, because modern research backs it up in stunning ways. One clinical trial followed seniors over 12 months, dividing them